Welcome back, everyone. Road trips, it equals to summer. Of course, you're going to go on the road. Even if the sun is shining, it can just be as dangerous as the winter months.
It's true. Tyler T. Todd, attorney and partner at We Win Injury Law, is here to share summer safety tips during travel in this sponsored segment. And what a timely conversation this is. We're jumping into talking about how to secure big loads traveling, because we're doing that right now when we're out on the roads. But there's been some stories in the press, some fatal, very scary, of things tipping over, falling off, and causing all sorts of chaos.
Very sad stories. In fact, I had planned on talking about these tips and talking about just the importance of securing your cargo, your boats, your ATVs or side-by-sides, because it's road trip time, right? And we were just talking about how awesome Utah is and all the fun things to do. And there's so many amazing things to do with those types of things. But how important it is to make sure that when you start getting out on that road, your tires are safe. We talked about that too. You're securing that boat or ATV. And then, of course, recently, the tragedy that just happened with the CEO of Lifetime, how horrible that happened just because of an unsecured load, or a bulldozer in that scenario came off the tractor, and then you have a catastrophic result. It's horrible.
So how do we stay safe? Is it being vigilant? Well, we can all do our parts to make sure, hey, everything is secure, but also keeping eyes to the road and paying really close attention, because debris is everywhere too. I see parts of tires and this and that on the road.
Well, one thing we say, and always be aware of that, right? Mm-hmm. One of our taglines and mottos at We Win Injury Law is to leave early and slow down. And we do that because for whatever reason, life gets hectic and crazy. Or if it's like in our family, you're going for that road trip and it's stressful before you leave. We just need to leave early and slow down. And so be aware of road debris. You can call if you see it. A lot of people don't realize that you can call 911 or say, hey, report it. And just make people more aware.
I didn't know we could do that. Just yesterday, things came to a standstill on the freeway because a truck, again, had lost things from the U-Haul they were carrying. And you don't think that you could be the one to just pick up, hurry, make the call. The quicker we can clear it out, the better and the safer for everybody.
Yeah, and so I don't think that you really think about that, and that's a great point. But you can, and it's a blown tire from a semi or a blown tire from another car, or it could be that something flew out of the back of a truck because it wasn't properly secured. We also want to make sure that everybody ties down your cargo make sure your straps are tied down properly, make sure they function properly. In our crazy heat right now, what happens with those straps? Well, they're in the heat, they wither, they start to just
fall apart. And you want to make sure that they're good quality, they're still in good working order, because that they can fail as well. So double check on that too.
Double check on that. So your tire pressures, double check that your tread's good, double check your tie downs, double check that everything's secured. You check it once, then twice, then maybe have someone else check it as well.
Yeah, all eyes on it. And you say, don't tailgate. You have to have some patience and have some room in there.
Well, I mean, we all know, especially if you go back to your driver's ed days, right? 2-car length distance. And that's so important because for whatever reason, you just don't know if there's an accident in front of you. You don't know whether traffic's stopping for debris. And so it's really important to maintain that proper distance, especially if you're on your phone.
Oh,
we all do it. Hopefully you don't do it. Put your phones down. But if you're on your phone, and too oftentimes that happens, that 2-car length distance is even way more important.
Yeah. Right. Traffic could go at a standstill in a second. And my family came to visit, and they're from out of town, so they're not used to necessarily the roads, and the speed is much higher than they're used to. I said, this is the Wild West. I mean, it's about 65 is the speed limit, and here it can be 80.
Right. And
so they went up the canyon, and they were really worried. And I said, just take it slow, be careful, be mindful.
That's actually a really good point, because we were talking before, and we're transplants, even though I've been in Utah over 20 years and you guys have been here a long time as well. Yeah, when you go to other states, you realize that the speeds are much lower than what we have here in a lot of our Utah roadways and our highways. And so because of the great state that we live in, we are having a lot of tourists and a lot of people that come out of town from other states, and their speeds are not as fast as ours. And they're going slower, which makes sometimes the road rage incidents go up a little bit more. So just leave early, slow down, and that's part of the calm down.
I love that, though. It's just a good reminder. We can all take that and put that into practice. Slow and steady wins the race. Where do we find out where we can get a hold of you, work with you, and ask you more questions?
You can find us at WeWinInjuryLaw.com, and you can call us at 435-688-9558, or you can send us an email, info@WeWinInjuryLaw.com. We're always here to help and answer any questions you may have, even like the 911 call about debris.
Yes. Well,
Such
great conversation.
Such a good message and great reminders. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Absolutely.